Hey everyone, welcome back to another Trailblazer Reloaded video. So in the last video, we kicked off our journey into the new old school RuneScape League, picked up the second relic, which was our fairy mushroom teleport, and powered our way to our first region unlock, which is where we left off and we're going to pick up today with making that decision. Let's get cracking. So while I was thinking about my decision of which area I wanted and editing the last video, I went and did a few AFK tasks. That included chopping and burning 100 willow logs, that's one task for each of those. And unfortunately, the whole time I was at those willow trees, which was a while, the RNG was just really bad and there was no forestry events, so I couldn't get any of those tasks done. But we did get a good 20 or so levels each out of both the skills, and at the start of that grind, we got 250 total level, which was another task, and we also got our first level 50 skill with the fire making, so that was another medium task on top of that. And because of our trickster relic, thieving is also an AFK grind, so I went and got level 50 there for a few coins so that we could buy some fishing supplies. Then went and did a few more AFK tasks, fishing a herring, catching a salmon on Karamja, catching 50 salmon in total, went to grab myself a lobster pot, which happened to give me another task for buying something from the trader cruise, filled a quick crate of bananas while I was in the area, and caught ourselves 100 lobsters for the final AFK task of the session, and now it's time to go pick that new area. So we left off trying to decide what area we wanted, and having slept on it, I've got quite a few ideas now, and I think the first one I'm going to go for is Kandarin. It's a little bit vanilla, but it's a good easy starting area. It hasn't got a lot of high level PVM that we have to worry about, so that even late game the points are pretty easy to come by. For example, 2 of the master tasks, so 800 points, are just doing agility laps on Ape Atoll. Time consuming, but not exactly hard to do. And the other 2 tasks, again, are relatively simple PVM. One is from the Kraken boss and one is from demonic gorillas. Nothing too difficult. And on top of that, there's a lot of synergy with the trickster relic for our thieving in Ardoin and also hunter just catching chins and the general hunter around the area. So it's really, really good. It ties in really well for us. So Kandarin it's going to be. It'll easily propel us towards our second and third areas as well. And that is that unlocked. Let's keep going. So I was actually going to go and do Rune Mysteries. I didn't realize Kandarin will unlock it for us. So that's the other good thing about unlocking new areas is when you have to unlock an area, there's certain quests in that will be unlocked with it, and that will give you any prerequisite quest complete. And if that happens to be a task, you'll get the points for it, but you won't get the experience. So if you did want to do a particular quest for the experience, for example, Waterfall quest in Kandarin, then you want to make sure you go and do that before you do a future area which completes that quest because you won't get the experience. So that has actually left us only 40 points away from our next relic, which we can get here without having to go to Kandarin. There's still a few tasks we haven't done in the Misthalin Karamja area, so let's knock those out real quick. So a task I can't believe I hadn't completed yet was casting a home teleport, and I managed to pick that up because I was using the wiki on the side here. Actually, let me show you what I'm talking about, how I was using it. So the wiki is a wonderful resource as always. You can see all the tasks available, how many easy, medium, hard, etc., and each one total points available, which areas you've selected. And if you activate the WikiSync plugin on RuneLite and put your name in here and hit lookup, it'll pull in all the tasks that you've completed automatically, or you can manually go through and check and uncheck if you don't want to use the plugin yourself. So what I like to do is jump in here, hit the complete % column so it sorts by most completed, and you'll see there's sometimes some very obvious easy tasks like this one that you just completely missed. You can quickly run off, do those, and build up your easy tasks. If you're always missing random easy tasks as well, or you just enjoy the tips in general, then please drop a like on the video. It really helps me out and is greatly appreciated. Okay, just while we're here in Lumbridge, I'm going to grab my anti-dragon shield. Actually, I might grab a couple more of those just in case. One thing I just realized though is having Rune Mysteries auto-completed from unlocking Kandarin, I actually can't get the air talisman from starting the quest, which means I can't do an easy task for locating an altar for now, but we'll just have to find a talisman from a drop later on. Time for everyone's favorite quiz in Gillinor. And that is everybody's favorite quiz complete. Not only is that a task, I think the experience is actually boosted in leagues as well. So you got 8 times multiplier on the 1000 XP, and that has boosted us all the way up to 25 Hunter and Slayer. Very, very good. The one benefit, since Rune Mysteries is complete, we can just teleport straight to the Essence Mine. There's another task. So we can just quick travel our way back, and that should be, there we go, another task and our third relic available. Let's talk Banker's Note and Fire Sale. So it's another very tough tier here. Banker's Note does what the name suggests. It gives you an item, and anywhere in the game you can actually take what you have in your inventory and bank it, or vice versa, turn any banknotes back into the item. This obviously has a multitude of uses. There's some very interesting skilling methods like runecrafting. You can just take your entire essence stack with you, and especially when you're bossing as well, you can just basically carry infinite food and supplies. Whereas Fire Sale basically gives you infinite cash. So any shop that requires coins, you can buy whatever you want for free. And you can do some interesting tricks with shops that don't even use coins. For example, the Tokkul shops in Tazar for the gems and whatnot. You can just buy a bunch of Chaos Runes from Aubrey, trade them in for Tokkul at Tazar, and then buy the gems with the Tokkul there. And that includes things like infinite onyxes, basically, which is going to be very, very helpful later on, especially if you want to go the range route and make some onyx bolts. Fire Sale also has some insane synergy for some very early points, especially if you go to an area like Fremnik, which I think I want to do. It's essentially 99 construction for free. You can access this construction stonemason store in Keldagrim. And as I said, it gives you access to some really cool task combos like building the demonic throne, which is actually a master task, the highest you can get in the Fremnik zone, and pretty much that's why the percentage of complete is so high on this one. So even though Banker's Note has some really interesting uses, everyone gets Last Recall for free, which I think mitigates a lot of that benefit. Banker's Note will still be faster, but Last Recall will get the job done a lot of the time. And if you're not doing a lot of heavy PvM where you're locked in a zone or high in raids, which I'm not planning to do, then infinite food and supplies isn't as much of a big deal. Besides, if you get one shot in there, then it doesn't matter how much food you have stacked up, you're going to die regardless. On the other hand, File Sale means you never have to think about money again. You get infinite supplies for a whole bunch of different tasks, and it makes cruising through this next mid-game stage to the next few relics a lot easier. And yes, you can make a lot of money late game, so there won't be as much of a problem for Banker's Note, but you got to get to the late game first, and I think Fire Sale is going to make that process a lot more smoother, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. It changes the way you play the game so drastically, and I can't wait to just have like infinite stacks of whatever items that I want. So Fire Sale it is when I go to a bank. There's no task here because I don't have a bank, but at least I can pet this dog while I'm here quickly. I was meant to go to the Spirit Tree at the Grand Exchange, but I accidentally teleported here, and that was a task itself as well from the Kandarin area. Okay, third time's the charm. I made it to an actual bank this time. Now we can activate our relic. And that is Fire Sale unlocked, another relic down. And I am thinking of going the range route actually, so having access to things like unlimited Onyx Bolt tips will be a little bit of fun in the future. So just for demonstration purposes, we can go to the rune shop. I've swapped my left click to buy 50, and we can just spam click away, and look at that. Just infinite supplies of anything from a shop that costs gold. So since I'm not planning to go mage, this is actually really helpful for us as well, because we will need to use mage every now and then, and runes could have been a problem, but we won't have to think about them at all because we can just buy infinite supply. And because we unlocked Kandarin as well, we actually have access to the Wizard's Guild, which means we can pretty much buy almost every single rune in the game that we're going to need. Okay, just a casual few 100k of each rune, that will last us plenty of time. We can use our spells now very comfortably to start training up some mage. And I think I forgot to mention this at tier 2, but every tier of relic also has a passive effect. So in this case, it's the Crystal and Memories, which is what I was talking about earlier, will sort of mitigate some of the banknote use. Basically, we get this item which was introduced back in the Trailblazer League, and it's absolutely incredible. So as a demonstration, let's just say I teleport away somewhere. Let's go to the Tree Gnome Village, just for argument's sake. If I hit the crystal... Oh, and there's a task for visiting the Tree Gnome Village. If I hit the Crystal and Memories, it'll take me back exactly where I just came from. Now, at the moment, it has a cooldown, and it's based on your total level. So once we hit 1800 total level, it'll have 0 cooldown, and we can use it as much as we want. And 1800 total level is not that hard to get to, I don't think. So that's why I'm not too fussed about having to wait for using it later on in lieu of Banker's Note. Okay, I think that's enough rambling about everything so far. I'm going to smash out some tasks. Let's get cracking. This is one of the really cool stores in the game, especially if you didn't get one of the production relics to start out. You can come to our Fonz here in Karamja. We can hit our, let's go swap left click, buy 50. Get the notes turned on, and look at that. Infinite Karamja supplies. There we go, late game food, just like that. We've got ourselves some revenge on a Dark Wizard for an easy task. Obtain a Bird's Nest is a task, and we got a beginner clue out of that, which is very nice. We might as well do that as well. That might be a task, or maybe it's easy clues will be the first clue task. We'll find out. Okay, so no task for the actual clue itself, but we did get a unique item. I can't even see what it is. The Sandwich Lady top, and that itself is a task, so we'll take that. It is day 3.5, and there are still queues for this Lesser Demon, but I'm just going to wait it out. I'm in no rush anyway. This is one of the fun things about the RuneScape community, just the stuff they come up with. It became like a commonly accepted practice to wait in queue to kill the Lesser Demon. Oh, while killing the Lesser Demon here, we actually got to the combat level 10 as well, so there's another task. And that is 2 tasks in one. One to defeat a Lesser Demon in general, and one to do it specifically here in the tower. And thanks to all these folks for sticking to the unspoken community rules of just lining up to kill this demon. 1000 arrow shafts fletched. There's 1 agility ticket from the Brimhaven agility course. And there is a task for buying some Snapdragons from the agility course. Now, there are more tasks here for doing more tickets in the future, but I'll come back and grind it out later. I don't really feel like sticking around for that long now. Grab ourselves a pineapple on Karamja. It's so good. Infinite smithing supplies for early game. Look at all those bronze bars. Let's also light a torch while we're here for another task. Smith ourselves a bronze full helm with all those infinite bronze bars that we just got. So this is a situation you could be using Banker's Note. You don't have to run back to the bank to get your bars. But again, like, it's such a short trip, and it's pretty easy to do it anyway. Smithing's such a fast skill that I'm not too concerned about it. And there's a bronze plate skirt as well. Romeo and Juliet complete. There's another task. I'm going to keep questing to the minimum, I think, in Leagues. It's already painful enough going through all these quests on the main game for JuicyBeet to get Barrow's Gloves right at this minute. I'll probably still do a few quests like the big major XP drops like Waterfall quest and that, and anything that gives some bonus points for tasks. But other than that, I'm going to try steer clear as much as I can. Right, Stronghold of Security done. Fancy boots, that'll be another task. But there's no way that we'll be wearing those this Leagues when we've got our magic little Sage's Greave here with our passive agility. And Pickpocket the Master Farmer. This will be a good way for us to get some seeds later on because of our tricks. Oh, Snape Grass, nice. because of our Trickster Relic, we can AFK it, we can do it without failing at all, and we'll be able to stack up a whole bunch of useful seeds, like that snape grass. Okay, so I went back to Aubrey and got a few more Chaos Runes, and now look at this in Karamja. Just infinite Tokkul by selling all these runes back to the shop, and if we had Death Runes, which we can get from the Wizards Guild later on, we could do this a little bit faster. And then we bring our Tokkul over here, and this is what I was talking about before, unlimited Onyx Bolt tips for the range build if you want them, but for now, we can buy ourselves one uncut Onyx, and just like that, that is an elite task done, 200 points, that gave us a massive jump towards our next relic. And we can also buy ourselves some gems here one at a time, which we'll need later on for a few tasks. We can't craft it just yet, but when we get the level, we'll come back and do that. And there's another shop further into the Tazar city, which you need to get the fire cape before you can access, and that sells gems in bigger quantities, so you can get them a bit faster, so we'll wait to bulk buy until then. There's also more ores available in that shop, so you can access pretty much every single one of these ores, but for now, I'm just going to grab myself a few iron ore, because there's some tasks to smith it. Another batch of easy points you can get with Fire Sale is all these Tazar items pretty much have points to equip them. I don't have the level for it yet, so I'll come back and get them later. And also, again, if you're going to range in, these items here are actually pretty useful to use early on. There's a task for smelting an iron bar. That is 150 iron arrow tips, as well as fletching 150 iron arrows. Now, apparently there's also a task for using a herring on a tree. I have no idea what that is a reference to. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments below, but we'll take the 10 points and the easy task complete. There we go, catch a Karamja, another task complete, and a task for equipping a piece of black armor, which we just grabbed from Horvik's shop. Okay, now there's a couple fun little speed running tasks. One of them is to kill like 6 chickens in a few seconds or something like that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to actually pull that off yet without my bonus relic, but let's just blast a few and see what happens. Oh, there we go, we got it. 3 chickens in 6 seconds, that's actually pretty easy. Now another task complete. That's actually a medium task too. Okay, I mentioned before that I can't actually equip many of these items for the task yet, but I completely forgot the obsidian cape is actually no gear requirement, so I should be able to grab that, throw it on, and beautiful. There we go, our first hard task, another little fire sale perk for some quick points, 80 points down. Okay, that took quite a while to... Oh, that's not the task I was going for, 500 total level. I will take that one though, but what we were going for was a defeating a Tazar, which that... As I was about to say, it took quite a while splashing away there, but we got that one done as well, so 2 tasks in one there. And there is a task for entering the Brimhaven dungeon. I didn't realize I hadn't been here yet. Oh, I just noticed as well, we actually got a task for 25 combat. Those are the best kinds of tasks, the one that just sneak up on you that you weren't planning on getting. And there's the task we did come from. Oh, no, that's not the one we came here for either. Okay, a second one has snuck on me. 1 combat achievement for killing a greater foe. But what we were actually here for was to defeat a greater demon on Karamja, which was an easy task. We are just 40 points away now from our next relic. That is a Moss Giant defeated for another task, and then we can just pop through here real quick and speak to Venica for a couple more tasks. Okay, so getting an assignment from Venica will be a task, and then I think getting an assignment in general is a task. Yep, there we go, so that's 2 in 1. That leaves us 1 task away. I think there's a task as well for equipping a spiny helmet, which we can just slap on real quick. There we go, there's another task, and that means we can now unlock our next relic, but I think there's also one more we can actually do here, so let me just quickly trade him again. That's not the right button. Let's quickly buy ourselves an enchanted gem, and then I think if we check our Slayer task, there we go, 1 more task. Not that we really needed it, or actually, we need it in the long run. We didn't need it right now. Okay, tier 4 relics. This is where the game really begins because this is going to decide our main sort of combat style. You can still use other combats, obviously, but this is going to be really, really overpowered depending on what we choose. Again, I really don't think there's a particular wrong choice. It just comes down to personal preference. Some will synergize better with certain areas more than others. For example, Superior Sorcerer goes really well with the desert and Kandarin because you can get the ancient magics from the desert as well as the shadow from Tombs of a Mascot, and you can also get the occult necklace and I think tormented bracelet from Kandarin areas, which is a massive, massive power spike to magic. I know a lot of people are going the mage route, not only on YouTube, but just my friends as well and on the Leagues Discord and that. So one big benefit of Sorcerer is that you save 90% of your runes when casting, which is really helpful, not just for combat, but also things like alchs and that. And that's part of the reason that fed into me picking Fire Sale, because I knew I wasn't going to go Sorcerers and I wanted a way to be able to stash up runes for when I do need them. I played Sorcerer in the last Trailblazer League and I had a lot of fun with it. It was fun just freezing everything, even though it wasn't like the meta build. I think range was a meta build back then. And speaking of range, I think that's the route that I'm planning to go down. I was tossing up really strongly between Brawler's Resolve and Archer's Embrace. In the end, though, I think I'm settled on Archer's Embrace. It's going to be a lot of fun just pew-pewing things with the crossbow and just specs going off everywhere with the ruby bolts. That looks like a lot of fun to build that out. The regions I want to go with, I think, work quite well with it. I'm planning to go to Fremennik as well, so you can do DKs with range, Vorkath, obviously, and the Phantom Muspar. It can all be done with range, so it works well there. So yeah, I think I'm pretty well settled. This is the big ticket that we're looking for. Enchanted Bolts have 2 times chance, and actually, because we picked Kandarin, we can do the Kandarin Diary as well, which I think gives another 1% boost on top of that, so even more synergy with our build here. 100% range accuracy boost is always very nice. And in terms of the passive effects that we get at this tier, loot becomes 3 times as more common now, which is really good for rare drops, but we're not going to do any grinding yet because it gets better than this still. And then there's a whole bunch of Slayer perks which are unlocked. So Superiors are unlocked, Slayer tasks gave us a lot more points, so it's easy to gather up points. We can skip a lot more easily, and then Superior Slayer rates are increased. But for now, let's lock in our Archer's Embrace. Ah, these animations never get old. Onwards and upwards. And there we go, a Slayer task complete. Since our Slayer task was goblins, I figured I might as well just knock it out while I was here. You would have noticed in the last few clips that I had Vampire Slayer going, but I just kept getting sidetracked. But we're going to go and finish it up now. This is going to be good. Look at that. 40 attack in one go because we had the 8 times multiply already. Vampire Slayer complete for another task. And let's go equip some weapons, which will give us a few more tasks on top of that. Oh, it's just so good. It's just so good, those XP drops. Okay, so this is why I bought all those daggers before, because I'm pretty sure for equipping most of these, there's some tasks. Yep, there we go. Mithril, Adamant, and that's it. And then we should be able to go get a rune weapon as well from the Champions Guild. Yep, there we go. Rune sword. Oh, it's so good. Actually, we might as well grab some rune armor while we're here as well, because there'll be a task for that as well. And we can get our green D-hide too. Fire Sail is the best. So let's equip that sword. There we go. Equip a rune weapon. A few more tasks complete. We can't equip any of the rune armor yet, so we'll do that a bit later. Okay, we're geared up with some range stuff. That should be enough to get us started. Since we've got our range relic now, we can start doing a little bit more combat, I think. And we're only 20 tasks away from our next area, which is really good because we haven't even gone into Kandarin and touched anything there, besides a couple of tasks that I did by accidentally teleporting to spirit trees. Look at this bow just pew-pewing away. So that's what all the combat relics do for all 3 styles. They actually give you a massive attack speed boost in addition to all the accuracy and whatnot. 3-tick weapons go down to 2 ticks, and then 4-tick weapons and above get halved and rounded down. So 4-tick will go to 2-tick. 5-tick actually also goes to 2-tick because it's 2.5 rounded down. So that makes it the biggest percentage increase for the main weapons. And that's what makes things like the Runite crossbow so powerful, because you've got a 5-tick weapon, which is normally quite slow, go into 2 ticks, and then the crossbows on top of that can use enchanted bolts for all their special abilities. It's the same thing for like all the big raid weapons, like the twisted bow and the... It's the same thing for all the big raid weapons like the Shadow and the Twisted Bow. I think they're all normally 5-tick weapons, so they become 2-tick and become very, very powerful. So that's essentially our goal in the short to medium term, is to get ourselves a rune crossbow and we can really start cashing in on this relic. But also the reality is like the relics are just so powerful. You can use pretty much whatever you want and you'll still get a significant damage boost, and you can kind of just play around with all kinds of crazy wacky builds if you feel like it. Oh, we got ourselves a medium clue here. We might see if we can do that one real quick as well. Okay, and now we've got 5 prayer points we can restore here at the altar, so that'll be another task. Actually, our range level's high enough now. We should be able to equip this studded armor for yet another task. There we go. And that is 30 range. Oh, we better run away before we die there. That is 30 range, which means we can equip our maple short bow for another task. And that'll do us for now. We'll just pick up the rest of our range training as we run around until we can use chins. And then because we have Kandarin unlocked, we can get chins very easily with our Trickster Relic as well and smash out some range training. Haha, bugger. I was doing this medium clue, but I don't think we can actually get a bone dagger yet until we get another region. So I'm just going to drop it for now. There's no point hanging on to it. We'll just grab another one later on in the future anyway. Okay, building any old room in our player-owned house will be another task. There we go. And there's a task for fletching 25 oak stocks. I thought I had done this one, but apparently I haven't equipped some steel armor. Yep, there we go. There's another task. I think I need to stop saying there's another task and just say what I did, because otherwise this whole video is just going to be task, 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 task. Oh, I came here to kill tree spirits for a rune axe, but we actually got a grimy guam leaf, which I think is a task as well. Yep, there we go. Task for cleaning that up. But we still need to get that rune axe. Hey, there we go. We got our rune axe. Oh, what have I done here? We got our rune axe, and that only took us 12 tree spirit kills. We can equip that, and that'll make wood chopping a bit easier as well. We gotta go chop, chop, chop. And there we go. Chop a tree with a rune axe. Figured I'd knock out Daddy's home just to get ourselves some starter construction XP, and we've already got to level 19 just from building the stuff in the house, and then another 5 levels just from finishing off the task and getting the mini reward quest. What am I saying? The mini quest rewards. And now that we have 21 construction, we can build the bank chest on Fossil Island for another task and 2 more construction levels. And just smacking a few wizards. Took 2 kills and we got our blue wizard robe. Put both of these on and that'll be another task. Hey, we just got another little sneaky task complete. 60 agility, that passive XP coming in clutch. Hey, there we go. That was pretty quick. We got a panning for an uncut jade complete as well. We are on that final stretch now to our second area. Only 8 more tasks to go. And that's a Demon Slayer complete. An easy 40 points. Fossil Island Mush Tree Network complete. Okay, I think it's about time we start capitalizing on our first region unlock, the Kandarin area. We're almost at the second area and we've barely even touched this one yet. So there's a lot of easy tasks left that we can still get, starting with planting some allotment seeds, which will be one easy task. And then we can also pay for these seeds with a couple buckets of compost. That'll be another task. There we go, protect our crops. We can speak to the bartender at Sears Village and grab ourselves a stew, which will be a task back in Draenor, and we've also now got access to flax, so we can do a few bowstring crafting tasks once we get one more, one more crafting level. Okay, so I just grabbed some glass supplies from a charter ship, have come back to Lumbridge to throw that into the furnace, and now we've got ourselves the level 10 crafting that we needed. There's a bowstring, and there is an oak short bow for one more easy task, 3 to go. Now we can give that stew we just bought to the guard in the tree. There we go. Okay, a couple of super easy ones now that we can do in our doin. Steal in a slice of chocolate cake, and then steal in a bit of silk. And we have now got 140 tasks completed and access to our next area. So what is it going to be? I already know for a fact that I really want to go to Fremennik. The bosses there for PVM are not that tough. You know, we're talking Vorkath, DKs. I haven't done the Phantom Musper, but I'm pretty sure it's relatively easy, you know, compared to a raid at least. It's got one of the highest total points available out of any area, and they're relatively easy to get. I mean, you can literally buy a master task, which is build a demonic throne without any combat whatsoever. And because we have fire sale, it's completely free for us. And some of the other master tasks, like filling all the god books, is just doing clues, which again, pretty straightforward in the leagues to do. So Fremennik is definitely on the list for someone who doesn't want to do a lot of long, hard endgame PVM grinds. However, it doesn't have a whole bunch of easy and medium tasks at the start. So in terms of propelling us to the third region, it's not the best for that. So that means I got to look at what other regions I want to do as well, and I don't want to do Karen to Mauritania because of the big raids there. Asgarnia's not bad, God War's dungeon is pretty straightforward, but I don't really feel like going to that region for whatever reason. Also, just a post-editing note though, Asgarnia does synergize really well with the ranged relic because you can get the Zarite crossbow for even more bolt procs. Just something to keep in mind if you really want to optimize that range build, but again, at the end of the day, it's about having fun, and I just wasn't feeling the vibes for Asgarnia, so that's why I didn't do it. Tirrawin would be an interesting one, but there's not a lot of points available, and a lot of them was probably tied to the Corrupted Gauntlet, which would be good practice for the Iron Man, but yeah, I'm just not really feeling the area. So that leaves Wilderness and Desert. Wilderness is another region with over 10,000 points available, and the bosses there are probably a lot more straightforward than some other areas. However, I feel like the region as a whole is a little bit dull, and the game might get a bit boring at the end if I have absolutely no real challenges left to do. So that leaves the Desert as almost the optimal final choice. It has the third highest points available out of any region, and even though a lot of those will be tied to the Tombs of Amascut, and I just said that I don't want to do Mori or Karen because of the raids, I know that there's a lot of other easy points in there still, like Pyramid Plunder and Sorcerer's Garden, Mage Training Arena, all that type of stuff. It's just a grind, but it's not hard. And who knows, maybe towards the middle or end of the leagues, I'll be feeling like a bit of a challenge, and I might even jump into the Tombs of Amascut. At least the option will be there, and I'll have some sort of challenge to work towards if I really want to take it on later in the game. But even without the Tombs of Amascut, there should be plenty of points available, especially between the Desert and Fremennik, to get ourselves towards that Dragon Trophy with minimal heavy PVM. So now I'm pretty set that my regions are going to be Fremennik and Desert, and if we look at the two regions side by side, there is significantly more easy and medium tasks in the Caridian Desert. So it makes a lot more sense to take that as our second region, which will then snowball us much more quickly into the 300 tasks that we need for the third region, and then we can unlock Fremennik and we have all our areas ready to go. So on that note, we are going to hit unlock, hit confirm, and that is our next area unlocked. 140 tasks complete, 160 more to the next region. Let's get cracking. In the next video, this one's already getting pretty long, I think. We've got our goals, we've got our sights set on Fremennik, and that's what we're working towards. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and a sub. It really helps me out. Previous episodes on screen, and until next time, have a good one. See ya.